In this video, I'll be going over all of the 2020 anime that I've watched and talk about various moments that I personally find to be hype, emotional, and entertaining. As a college student who's sometimes busy, there are many shows that I didn't get to watch. Minor spoilers ahead, so you can skip using the timestamps in the description. Stay tuned till the end cause I'll be ranking my top 10 anime of the year. This year saw a decrease in the number of S-tier shows that came out compared to last year. We took 2019 for granted. Look at the amount of amazing shows that came out last year, like Vinland Saga, Mob Psycho 100 Season 2, Demon Slayer, Beastars, and Promised Neverland, just to name a few. Even 2018 had more S-tier and A-tier shows, like Bunny Girl Senpai, Violet Evergarden, Darling in the Franxx, Slime Isekai, and A Place Further Than the Universe. But at the end of the day, it's natural to have ups and downs. Besides, there were in fact a lot of solid animes this year. In winter, I followed a measly 4 series. Kicking off with My Hero Academia Season 4 felt like a contrast between tense action and gentle moments. Overhaul seemed like a promising villain with an overpowered quirk, but they nerfed him at the end by reducing him to a punching bag. At least his eyes were better animated than 7 Deadly Frames Season 3. The fight scene gave me goosebumps with the lyrical version of Yusei Run in the background, but the MVP of this season goes to Endeavor. He had the single best hype scene of the year. That final prominence burn was so intense and powerful that it knocked my socks off and made me shed a tear. Bofuri took a simple but interesting question of what would happen if I maxed out my defense in a game, and then garnished it with Isekai MSG, known as cute girls and overpowered MCs. Every week I looked forward to seeing Maple's new transformation and how she would use them to her advantage. The blend between cuteness and epic fights served well to create an enjoyable and wholesome isekai. Spectre was a forgettable series despite having good character dynamic between the main characters in episode 1. That potential was later wasted as the show shifted to more dialogue-heavy scenes and spent too much time covering one arc. The only saving grace for me was Kotoko's beautiful character design and her outgoing, intelligent, and clingy personality. Toilet-bound Hanako-kun initially put me off with its strange title, but to its credit made a memorable first impression with its vivid and colorful art style. What's even more strange is that the main character, Hanako, is an absolute Chad. Well, a chibi Chad. That and his dark backstory made him very unrelatable and hard to root for. MVP of the show was definitely the ending song, which I stayed every episode to listen to. Moving on to spring, I picked up 5 series, the most enjoyable being Kaguya-sama Love is War Season 2. They outdid themselves this season in every aspect, highlighting its strong cast of characters by giving them more depth. All that's left now is to wait for Miyuki's stand to manifest after learning that his dad is actually Dio. More importantly, this show is the only one to consistently make me blush and flail my arms around like a 12-year-old because it's just that cute. Hayasaka definitely caught many people's attention, but Kaguya is still my best girl. I'm gonna be honest and say that Tower of God was not so memorable. I absolutely dig the soundtrack and ambience of the show, but I feel that it lacks some sort of hook to keep audiences engaged. Probably due to its slow build-up and lack of explanation, I found it hard to figure out who's bad or good and understand how the tests even worked. Opening and ending songs slapped real hard, but the thing I wished I could slap hard is Rachel. Gleipnir was an average edgy show that never reached a climax at the end, which made it forgettable. Fight sequence was incredible for one scene only, but then I guess they ran out of budget after deciding to animate Claire's bra like Van Gogh's Starry Night. My Next Life as a Villainess is probably the only harem show where I didn't root for any ships, mainly due to the protagonist being extremely dense, which caused this show to focus more on comedy and drama. As a result, it turned out to be an enjoyable, light-hearted series. Sing Yesterday for me was probably my biggest disappointment of the year. Not because the show was bad, but because the first episode was phenomenal and emotional, but the remaining 11 episodes just dropped downhill. This show is a clear example of setting the bar too high in the beginning. Best girl fight. Eccentric girl with a pet crow versus beautiful teacher childhood friend? I'd pick the crow instead. It probably has Koto Amatsukami. We're at the middle of the year and being stuck in quarantine has inevitably destroyed many romantic relationships, including mine. Then came along summer, bringing a ray of hope to me and my fallen brothers. Rent a Girlfriend introduced us to the concept of renting a girlfriend, which is an actual service you can find in Japan. While the selling point of this show is a lineup of girls with personalities to suit different tastes, I feel that this show is popular not because the girls are S tier, but because the main character Kazuya is so incredibly awkward, cringe, and hopeless that the girls seem like angels sent from heaven in comparison. Overall, a fun show if you can put up with a simp MC who stutters every sentence. By the way, Sumi is best girl. Chizuru is just too perfect for me. The long-awaited sequel of ReZero proved to be worth the wait as we got more suffering and discovered the sacred power of bodily fluids. Season 2 shed more light on Subaru's past, allowing us to better understand his drive and actions. Echidna stole the spotlight with her deceptively charming attitude as it climaxed to one of the most captivating speeches in 2020, making the presidential debate sound like baby talk.
Would you shut up, man?
The ending song was such a banger that it turned Rem into a literal memento. Would have been my anime of the year if Rem was in it, but instead they put in Garfield. And the award for the most outrageous lines said with a straight face in 2020 goes to Anos Voldigod, the Demon King of Tyranny. Misfit of Demon King Academy saw Maple from Bofuri being OP and said, "Hold my beer," only to give us the ultimate Giga Chad who can't die even if he's killed. At that moment, plot became irrelevant and I kept coming back every week just to watch the absurdity of the fight scenes. God of Highschool is the exact embodiment of the quote, "Too much of anything is bad." The choreography and animation of the fight scenes were stellar, but had very little emotional impact as the audience weren't invested in the characters yet. There was little effort in explaining how powerful each attacks were or how serious each damage was, as they could seemingly brush it off at certain times. This made the whole action element less believable. Even so, who can ignore incredibly well animated fight scenes and say that it's not awesome? My last anime of summer is Uzaki-chan. What more can I say besides me getting into it solely for the plot? I enjoyed watching Uzaki tease Sakurai for the first 6 episodes, but then it became boring cause even the ecchi scenes were too tame to compensate for the lack of story. Fall is probably my favorite season, with many strong shows that keep me at the edge of my seat. Jujutsu Kaisen started with a solid first episode showcasing one of the best body twists by Sukuna, second only to the OG Twisting Tiger. In all seriousness, the MC is easily likable and Gojo Satoru gives off the same overpowered aura as All Might, but with a funnier sense of humor. This show knows how to balance action with plot progression perfectly. I've never been a fan of cyberpunk settings, but Akudama Drive has definitely won me over. Use of CGI is beautifully done to the point where we can't tell apart between 2D and 3D. Each episode is packed with gripping action and thrill, until we forget that the characters don't even have actual names throughout the entire anime. Tired of getting your heart broken? Skip the bullcrap, marry a girl you barely know and let true love blossom. Wait a minute, this sounds like a typical Malay romance novel. Despite how unrealistic it is, Tonikaku Kawaii fulfills every person's dreams of having the perfect marriage that stays romantic. Easily one of the most heartwarming series this year, and probably even the most halal anime couple to date. If you haven't realized, witches are now a trend. My favorite this year being Wandering Witch Elaina. Elaina is a breath of fresh air for protagonists because she lacks the typical likable trait of wanting to help others. A self-centered MC may be a put-off for some, but once you accept it, you will definitely enjoy the intriguing adventures of Elaina in this beautiful show of episodic nature. Let's speed up things a little. Higurashi started off as an interesting horror mystery as it manages to be genuinely scary whenever the cute characters slip off tone and act strange out of the blue. However, it starts getting confusing when they include time loops. Not having watched the original show which aired in 2006, I kind of lost interest. The Day I Became God, on the other hand, seems to be building up to deliver a tear-jerking ending. I feel that it's not going to hit as hard because the main characters lack a deep and meaningful relationship. However, the comedy and drama stands out in every single episode, making it a satisfying watch. Opening song is beautiful in my opinion. Our Last Crusade feels like cheap entertainment because coincidences in the plot happen way too often for convenient storytelling. It's also funny seeing Chizuru being the hopeless simp in this series. Noblesse started off slow but gradually picked up pace as they raised the stakes alongside the animation budget. Fire Force did a good job at being a solid shonen with many satisfying climaxes after multiple build-ups. Last but not least, I would say an overlooked series this year is Talentless Nana. As to why I think it's entertaining, watch the first episode and hopefully you'll understand. Now to rank my favorite anime. Number 10, Misfit of Demon King Academy. Number 9, Bofuri. Number 8, Tonikaku Kawaii. Number 7, Talentless Nana. Number 6, Wandering Witch Elaina. Number 5, Akudama Drive. Number 4, Jujutsu Kaisen. Number 3, Rent-A-Girlfriend. Number 2, Re:Zero Season 2. Number 1, Love is War Season 2. I'm aware there are many other amazing shows this year. Tell me which one of them should I watch next. But anyway, thank you for watching. Is my top 10 list any similar to yours? Feel free to comment your rankings below. Till next time,